totally fine.
Okay. Well, that's, I hope that's the case.
Me too. But in other news,
That's
weekend.
news? Is that news?
I got to play Netrunner this weekend with one of my friends, which was nice.
Oh.
You've claimed you want to learn, which I'm really excited about eventually.
I mean, I want to know what it's all about, because you bring it up here and there. I know you really like it. I know that there's ways for us to play it remotely, so just figured might as well sit down and actually figure out what this is all about.
We're going to make it happen. Not today, but soon.
Not live, not during the recording.
Before the end of the year.
Oh, before the end of the year? Okay.
That's my hope.
Okay, well, it's a lot to
Look,
do
we're
before
busy
the end of the
people.
year. We are very
We're
busy people. That's why we're recording this now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been
Hi,
a big
everybody.
chunk.
Video games hello. And welcome to the Audio Games Podcast. It's been a while. We've just had
He's
a really
Neil.
busy October,
I'm
basically.
Matt.
That's true.
Video games hello.
I forgot to say my name. Look,
Yeah. It's fine.
I'm Neil.
I got you
He's
covered.
Matt.
I already said that.
It's fine.
We're fine. We got it in. It's been done. Check that off the list. Let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to cover.
Yeah, I've played quite a few games.
I also played quite a few games. I had my vacation that I normally take right before the holiday season, and I, sat down. It was a staycation. The current circumstances make travel kind of hard. I got a lot of things rooting me to this place. And I'm not saying that as like I don't like that. I'm just saying that's a fact of the matter. But it did give me a lot of time to catch up on some games from this year specifically, and I just thought I'd take the opportunity. Of course, as a consequence, there's a lot to try and squeeze into whatever length this podcast will be. And also, circumstances on your end. Who knows how we're gonna be recording?
We'll be fine. It'll be fine.
All right. Well, what have you been playing, Neil? Oh, okay.
Oh, me first?
Yeah, no, you go. You go.
All right. Well, just to get it out of the way, I'm still playing Silksong. We all knew that would happen. I had to play horror games for October, so I slowed down. But I'm getting pretty close to done with Act 2, I believe.
You're taking your time.
I am. But that game continues to be absolutely incredible. Better than the original by far, and way up there on my probably game of the year list.
Yeah. I mean,
it's fucking good.
I want to do a deep dig on it when you're done, but I've been watching you.
It's gonna be a bit still, but I'm still playing that. I just wanted to get that out of the way, everybody. Yes, I'm still playing it. I plan to go through Act 3.
Like, you're right on the precipice of, like, me being able to talk about a lot more, but you're just not doing it.
That's fair.
Doing it.
And then I played, because of October, since I brought that up, I played Evil Within 2 as my horror game this year, and I gotta say, a little bit disappointed.
I mean, I don't think that there was a Evil Within 3, so I think that says a lot about where that series went. Not saying it was a bad game, but as a horror game, I don't think that it really hits.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing where I really got kind of disheartened by it. Is I think I got like 2 or 3 times in the game where I got kind of creeped out and not really scared. Which I'd heard this was a pretty good game. It's definitely marketed as a horror game. But it kind of just plays more like an action-y part of a Resident Evil game.
Yeah. And from what I saw the ending, like I was watching you play, it really doesn't seem like they even try to end on a more horror note. It just seems like they end on a sci-fi thriller note.
The ending was so wild. I thought it was so strange. The literal final chapter of that game, they suddenly start doing like cuts between your character and a character that's been outside of the brain space thing,
Right. So
sci-fi
the evil
cyberland.
outside, right? Because there's the evil
Yeah, yeah.
within, but there's also evil outside.
But it starts doing like wild cuts between those two things with like one person opening a door and it goes to like the other person in a quick cut opening a door, and like suddenly you're playing another character in a bunch of these parts, and it's just like, if this is where they were going with this game, why wasn't this like the style of this game for the whole thing? It feels so fucking weird that only the final like 40 minutes of this game is suddenly like, hey, we're doing this totally different style of game now.
It
Uh,
reads to me like a game that they had an idea for like what it was going to be, and they kind of like had some other ideas as they were making it, and it, yeah, those other ideas ended up at the forefront towards the end.
mm, I'll say. Um, but it's a perfectly fine game. I think that it does a little bit of like pseudo open zone things for you to just sort of explore and find extra upgrades and all that if you want to, without really making those feel necessary or like a big ask to engage with. So I actually did a fair amount of the optional content in the game just because it was readily available. And it does play fine. It's just, it was really disappointing as a like, this is the horror game of this year, and I just didn't get scared at all.
I mean, it wasn't even a game from this year, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's not even in the
But you
running
know,
for game of the year, which you
maybe
need to
I'll
be
maybe I'll
thinking
do
about.
Silent Hill F or something next year when it's also not eligible.
Uh, we gotta figure that out, Neil. I mean, I'm trying to pack in as many games as possible. I hope that you
I
have
know, I know.
a good little list, because it's coming up fast.
It's coming up faster than I care to admit, and while I have played a isometric action game, it has not been Hades 2, which I am still very close to starting. I
So
promise.
close. He's so close
Very
to
close.
starting it.
I'm very close.
Well, you know what?
Uh,
I was so close to starting some games that I actually did start them.
yeah. What did you start?
Well, I played a game with you, as part of my little vacation birthday extravaganza thing. I was like, hey, we should like play some of this friend slop, which is what people are calling games like these. Um, we played
It's such a weird name. I don't know why they have such a like. Some of those games are obviously pretty bad or
some of
like
them are
very
slop,
samey,
some of
but
them aren't.
calling the entire genre that is very weird to me.
I mean, you just throw the word slop around nowadays.
I
But
guess that's true.
yeah, it's Peak.
Mm-hmm.
So that this game came out I think mid this year, and it took all of the people with three other friends by storm. So I was like, hey, it might be fun to try this out. It was just me and you playing it, but we did really well for just two people, I think.
Yeah.
And it was intuitive enough that we didn't really do badly ever. There was certainly some times where we individually did badly, but you know, we pick up the slack and we move forward. But it's a game about climbing. There's been a good slew of those over the past 2 or 3 years. But the premise is you are a group of Boy Scouts who have crashed on this mysterious island, and the terrain is procedurally generated, and there's different biomes that you have to trek through until you finally get to a volcano. And you got to get to the top of the volcano from the inside in order to escape. And
Yeah.
I think we escaped twice, right?
I think we only escaped once. The we had one where we were like so close
Oh, okay.
and just couldn't quite get there.
Dang. But we were playing on the harder difficulty. Like
Yeah.
we committed that when we unlocked the difficulty we were gonna do it. So we're like, okay, just gonna do the harder difficulty. I enjoyed that quite a bit, really.
Yeah.
Even the downtime when I was dead and simply watching, I was still very entertained. Just watching you struggle to figure out where the actual way up is. So I'm
And
hoping that
and
you
every
felt the
once in a
same.
while being dead is actually like kind of helpful because it's like you're able to get a angle that'll actually let you say, "Oh, I think you actually can climb up in this section that you can't really see otherwise."
Yeah, it was only the last run that we discovered how to point for each other.
Yeah, that might have been a little helpful.
Yeah.
Some other times.
But it actually got an update. They introduced a new biome that we haven't played yet, so I would be interested in giving it another shot at some point, and hopefully having that be the one that shows up, just so we can see it.
Yeah,
But
try to
yeah,
rope in some other friends maybe too.
that would be nice. I'd like to be able to play with a full group. There's actually mods out there that people have made to like play with 8 people, but I feel like maybe that's a little much.
Yeah, it's hard to find 8 friends all the time. I have found.
Yeah, and so
There's a
when
reason I don't play Among Us anymore and stuff, right?
well, I don't know what the actual player count is, but I feel like Among Us isn't as popular as it was. But
Oh,
that
maybe
was
not, but there was a time where there was definitely like, hey, all of my friends are available to do this because everybody's stuck at home in like early COVID days.
yeah. I'm surprised they didn't try and make a movie, but that
Yeah.
I feel like that ship has passed. But I will give Among Us a lot of the credit for creating Friend Swap because I think that that's when people started saying, "Oh, this is the new format." But when I don't have other friends to play with, I play games like Ball X Pit, which is
Oh.
the a breakout style roguelite. It's the bounce the ball on the paddle up to the top of the screen and break bricks, except in Ball X Pit, it's not bricks, it's enemies that are spawning from the top and coming towards you. Much more like a Galaga situation. So it's kind of like a breakout Galaga roguelite, if you wanna call it something.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but there's the B side to that game, which is like the building the town. But everything plays like Breakout. So even when you are building the town, like the way that you construct things is you knock your little workers into the buildings to construct them. Um, but yeah, this is another game that kind of came out of nowhere. I saw a lot of people playing it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." So I picked it up while it was still in a little bit of a promotion on Steam. And yeah, it's quite good. As far as roguelites go, I think this is certainly one of the better ones from this year. A lot of very interesting things going on with it where the different characters that you can unlock play very, very differently. So there's a lot of variety
Mhm.
there. And all of the upgrades are also very interesting. Like at a certain point, like I unlocked a building that lets you bring 2 characters with you on an expedition instead of just one. And so that really mixes up the gameplay a lot because you're using 2 separate strategies at the same time.
Do their powers
Um,
combine? Because I've heard of some very weird ones, and I would wonder how those can combine with each other.
there are certain villagers that cannot go on expeditions with others, just because it
Oh,
just
okay.
doesn't make any sense. Like there's one who, when you have him, he picks all of your choices for you. Like he just decides for you. And
Oh, wild.
there's also one that like causes each wave to appear as like like a how to put it. It pauses the game each wave, and then you get to click to do one shot to try and bounce it perfectly, and then after your shot, it advances an additional wave, and if you don't maintain the space, then you quickly get overwhelmed. But it's not just the characters or the buildings and the upgrades, but also just the balls themselves. You have all these different elements and concepts for the balls, but you can also fuse the balls, and certain balls, when they fuse, can evolve into completely separate balls that can in turn also fuse with other balls. So a lot of combinations there, a lot of play styles that are complementary to characters or other upgrades that you can have. And yeah, it's just been fun testing things out, and it's a good one. I would recommend this one
When
as a.
when you're fusing a ball, is this a like per run basis, or is that like how you unlock a ball to be available in the future?
It's on a run basis. You can unlock
Okay,
certain
okay.
balls as you advance through the game, to show up to show up in the table that you
Mm-hmm.
roll from. But anything beyond those basic balls, you have to either fuse or evolve mid
Gotcha.
run. But there are building upgrades where, like, the ball that your character starts with starts at a higher level and is more readily available to fuse or evolve, for example. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that you can do to get your characters really, really strong. I know a lot of people, they're not into the meta progression aspect of a lot of these roguelites because it kind of just makes the game easier as you play it, but this hasn't bothered me. I'm not playing this game as a try hard, I'm playing it for fun, and it's fun. So
Sweet.
that's also a really great game. It's gonna be in the running, let's say, for game of the year. I
Oh,
don't
good
think
to
it's
know.
I don't think it's gonna be super up there, but it's certainly gonna be a game that I enjoyed. Um, just a little break from the onslaught of all the games that I played. I also did a demo. I played the Bubsy 4D demo. Yes, Bubsy is back again. Can you believe it? It's like you revive something and then it dies even harder, and then you revive it again anyway. And it doesn't seem like anybody's satisfied with just leaving Bubsy dead. Um, Funny thing is that it actually plays really good. As far as 3D platformers go, I'd put it up there with like a Hat in Time. In
I
terms
mean,
of
they've
how,
had a lot of time to improve Bubsy 3D, so.
yes, and that's where a lot of the self-deprecating humor that you would come to expect from Bubsy comes from. It's really
Hmm.
interesting because like when they came out and they're like, we're gonna make another Bubsy thing, and then the developers were like, yeah, we're not gonna lean into the self-deprecating stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Wonder what kind of characterization and dialogue there could possibly be for Bubsy. And then you get into the game and you play the demo, and there's still self-deprecating humor. I will admit there's less self-deprecating humor, but the
It is
idea
still
that
there.
it's still there, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's weird. It's a weird game. I feel like there's a lot of deep cuts that you need to have been a Bubsy fan to truly understand. And yes, there is like a whole hub world and other characters and dialogue, and I'm just like, I don't know anything about what's going on right now. But when I finally got to that gameplay, it was good. And that was the most shocking thing of all. So, um, so that's certainly a thing. Again, I don't think that anyone was really seriously looking for yet another Bubsy game, but it seems like they're trying to do it right, whatever that means for Bubsy. So good on them. Um, okay, so let me just get through the last few of these really quick.
Hmm.
Easy Delivery Company. If I was also streaming, Neil, I think that this would have been my Halloween game. But
Oh.
Easy Delivery Company is a very lo-fi PlayStation 1 kind of styled graphics delivery game where you are it's not very well explained like what your role is in the world, but you're a delivery driver and you go from place to place in what is it's almost like a Death Stranding kind of situation where everybody seems very isolated and no one's outside, but it's more because of the extremely cold weather. So
I was I was literally just thinking like, oh, Death Stranding, the other delivery game, the only one people know now.
yes, the two delivery games, Death Stranding and this. Um, but it's just weirdly isolating and kind of creepy. The way that the trailer presents it makes it seem like it's more of a cute, wacky game where you like tape boxes down in the back of your little pickup truck to keep them from falling out. But let me tell you, there's certain things in this game that are not cute, and it's certainly leaning into like the creepy PlayStation 1 stuff, at least a little bit. I have not completed the game, but it does seem like it's got some things to say. It's almost like I would say that just the general mood is a little Silent Hilly, just because of like the weather separating everybody and how lonely things are when you're moving from place to place, and just the general lack of direction that you have. Like this is a delivery game, like you use an app to like decide what jobs you're going to take, but even though you have like this system and maps, it doesn't show you where you are on the map, so you kind of have to figure out the lay of the land yourself. Um,
Okay.
There's also like this side thing with radio towers that are disabled, and you can go in, but like because the weather's so harsh, you need to like keep yourself warm, or else you will succumb to the weather from exposure. I don't know why you're activating the radio towers, but I've been trying to activate all of them just to see what it does. But I mean, it seems like an interesting little game. I was actually getting into it for a little bit, but I don't know what more there can be to it unless they really lean into the spookiness, and I don't know that that's going to be something that's easy to land. So, judgment
Hmm.
pending on this one. And then the last game that I played, it's a Fodian game. In fact, it includes Bennett Foddy as both a voice actor and a developer. I'm talking about Baby Steps. And Baby Steps is one of them games that seems like it's going to be rage bait. And yeah, well, I'll admit that there's a lot in this game that seems like it's designed to be frustrating or difficult for the sake of being difficult. But against the backdrop of every other game that has been in that kind of genre, like Only Up, um, the rollerblading career ladder game, all those
I don't
like
even remember
the
that one.
Jump King, Alt F4, these games that exist specifically just to be like a clout game essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like Baby Steps is actually fairly reasonable in its difficulty on the critical path, on the actual path that you need to take to get through the game. Now, there's a lot of other things available out there. Like there's all manner of other objectives that you can decide for yourself that you're going to pursue. And you know, I've gone out of my way to check out a few of these out, and it's not for lack of a for lack of a better word, it's not unfruitful to do these things. Partially because
Hmm.
some of them are literally fruit, but also because they result in learning a little bit more about Nate, the titular character, whom you are controlling. And Nate he's a pathetic guy. He's just a pathetic guy. But it seems like there's more to him. It seems like there's reasons for him feeling or being the way that he is. And for all of the fun that the game pokes at Nate, there's also moments of sympathy. And I think that it's a game that also has something to say. You know, I think that,
Hmm.
yes, this is a Bennett Foddy game. Yes, it's going to be frustrating and difficult and maybe sometimes not make much sense in terms of like how that plays out. But also, it seems like it has things to say about being a motivated person. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess you could make that argument for things like uh, the other Bennett Foddy games, but I think that in this way, it's a little more nuanced and embedded in the gameplay. Let's say.
Yeah, I watched you play a bit of that game, and gameplay aside, just the fact that it was kind of giving you a bunch of little silly cutscenes when you would go to specific areas, and even just the way that it seemed like it would, in a lot of ways, sort of soft checkpoint you in ways that a lot of those other games don't, where you can kind of just fall all the way back to the beginning of the game, and the game is only, you know, 5 minutes long if you know how to do it perfectly. But this game looks like it is much more about actually giving you a journey and a narrative to explain the ways in which the odd controls and uh, frustration of doing this climb can feed back into that narrative in a way that a lot of those other games like Jump King really don't. They just, the narrative is too thin to give you any of that.
Well, I mean, the narrative in a game like that is the player's narrative, right?
Yeah.
But in Baby Steps, the narrative is Nate's narrative, which you are experiencing, as opposed to uh, being subjected to, for lack of a better
Hmm.
explanation for games like Getting Over It and Jump King. But again, I don't think that it's really made to be over-examined. I think that people are going to take away what they're going to take away from it. But I just want to like put my 2 cents in there and say, yeah, it seems like there's more than your typical rage bait game, which is great. Which means I'm probably going to be able to finish it. Um, I have other things I need to play, man. I I know I was just talking about the things that I did play, but even with that break, I need to finish Hades 2. We got Metroid Prime 4 coming out soon.
I don't
We
even have a
got
Switch, so you're gonna be the one playing that if either of us do.
yeah, and then Morsels, that weirdo game from that one Nintendo Direct. The demo came out, and I got the demo, but I
Oh,
haven't played it
yeah.
yet. But that's coming out soon as well, and I want to play that. So,
It's too many games.
yep, and not a lot of days left in this year. But were you playing anything else, Neil, that you want to talk about?
Well, the only other thing I've really been playing is 2XKO.
Yeah, you've been doing your
And I've been
dailies
playing a lot of 2XKO.
on controller.
I know, I'm playing it on a controller. It's it's weird because I do miss feeling like I have a reason to get my fight stick out. But I just couldn't find a control scheme that felt good in this game on a fight stick for me. Whereas the controller feels fine. Admittedly, I have a very weird setup on it, but maybe I'm just a freak.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of 2XKO. I know I've talked about it a bit in the past, but uh, now it's in its like season 0, they're calling it, where it's out in a way that means character unlocks and color unlocks and progression and everything is not going to reset. You can spend real money in it now, though I have not. And I will admit, some of the things you can buy for real money do seem a bit crazy in price, but they are entirely cosmetic, so it doesn't really bother me. The stuff I'm actually really impressed with the game is the way that its free to play economy doesn't feel oppressive. And a lot of that comes down to just thinking about like a character costs 10,000 coins. And if you do just the dailies and weeklies every week, you're getting something like 8,000 coins a week. And that's not including what you get from just playing the game or doing any of the like training modes and stuff where you can get some one-off stuff. So it's like if the expectation is kind of like play the game for a week to 10 days to unlock a character, that seems super reasonable to me. And the
yeah,
daily quests
yeah.
are like spend a half hour playing this a day, maybe.
Right. And then you have to consider like what the actual release schedule is like, and when you look at it and what the plans are, it's like, okay, well, I'll definitely have enough to unlock a character when it comes out.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really happy with that stuff, and the gameplay itself, I like it a lot. I do think there's some things that could be addressed right now, just with a couple of character power levels and like one or two tactics that can be used specifically with certain fuses that are a little crazy. But I also know because they're still considering this to be early access, they're doing a little more patching a little more frequently than they say they plan to do, and I'm I'm just really impressed that the game feels for all the like simplicity of this game and trying to open it up to more people. The actual mechanics of this game are super dense. There's so many different choices you're making in a moment to moment basis in a way that is really exciting. And gosh, I just wish I could play more duos with people. I've gotten to play sadly little duos, but I have played a lot by myself.
Well, I mean, we talked about it a little off the podcast, but you
Hmm.
have a very distinct philosophy about duos versus solo play,
It's true.
about how you feel.
It's true.
Um,
Uh, when I am playing by myself, especially if I just go in like a casual lobby where you can kind of infinitely queue with someone, I will just keep queuing and start losing time, and my body will get really sweaty because I'm not necessarily because I am like I have to win, but I'm definitely trying, and I'm not very good at separating when I'm playing by myself into a treating it a little more as a casual thing. I've actually been thinking maybe I should just play ranked where it only lets you play a 2 out of 3 with someone so that I have like hard breaks and can say I should stop playing this right now instead of suddenly it's been 3 hours.
I mean, you say that, but then you queue up for ranked again after you have a bad match.
I
You
do.
just keep
I do.
just queue up for ranked again and again and again. Like I did this in Street Fighter, man. Like I'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, I'm gonna play a couple of matches ranked, and then I lose both. I'm like, well, I gotta do another match of ranked, and then I win. And I'm like, all right, I can do one more match of ranked to like even out my score because I lost twice and I'll win twice,
I
and then it just keeps going and going and going.
I do hear you on that, and I have definitely done a little bit of that, but when I'm able to just rematch over and over again with one person, I lose time a lot more, personally.
Sure.
But as far as the philosophy thing is concerned, the thing that then gets a little hard for me is I sometimes then have trouble working on some of my game plan when I'm just queuing like that. And when I'm playing with a friend and we're chatting, I can kind of separate my brain out a little bit to start treating the game a little more casually as well, and more like I'm playing this for fun rather than playing this to improve. And that lets me feel like I have the uh,
Space.
separation, I guess, to try to take bigger risks in some of my gameplay, to try the combos that I want to practice rather than the combos I know I can do.
Right. And then
Um,
inversely, I was saying that if I'm playing with someone and they're just like trying things out, it can be kind of frustrating if we're on a losing streak. But
yeah,
I don't disagree. I think that if you're playing with someone else, there's still the element of like I'm hanging out with someone that
yeah.
even if you're not winning, it's like okay, well, I'm still interacting and at least socializing here, right?
And if nothing else, having another person there to say, "Why don't we stop now?" Is probably good for me.
That ain't gonna be me though, especially if I'm losing.
Yeah, but I do really like the game. I think that the defensive mechanics are really hard to wrap your head around, and in duos especially because the partner controls a lot of your defensive mechanics. Uh, Getting in sync in that way is a wild and crazy hurdle that I find exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna disagree, but also it's the same issue where when you're playing like just League of Legends, right? When you
Hmm.
have a team, then you have this whole screen of people to like blame when you're not doing well, right? The thing that I
Yes.
really truly love about fighting games, Neil, is that when I'm doing a 1v1 and I don't win, like I know who's at fault, right?
Mm.
And it's just like, okay, well, I can't blame somebody else. I can't blame my opponent for playing well. So if this is on me to get better. Now, if I'm playing with
Yeah.
somebody else
Then you can
and
start
it's
saying, "Well, maybe it's just because my friend is bad." Yeah,
there's some doubt to throw in, is all I'm saying.
that's
And that
true.
that doubt ain't always healthy.
As somebody who, let's say, is pretty bad about beating themselves up in fighting games sometimes,
Hmm.
uh, having a buffer like that, having someone to bounce off of, is good for that for me. Um, Yeah, I hear you though. It is it is something unique. It is a thing that I think is really exciting about it, and I want to engage with more of it. But I also just think it is a really fun fighting game in general. Um,
Yeah, yeah. No, they
So,
they definitely put their whole ass into it. This is
yeah.
a whole ass game. Um, so moving forward with the development of this, they said how many characters a year?
They have said that they announced that their plans are to do 5 seasons a year with a character at every season. Right now they're in season 0 where they put out Teemo and Warwick, bringing the cast to 11, which is one more than they claimed they were going to launch with, which is interesting since they're still in early access. But I believe they've said in January is the plan for season 1, and they have not said which character that's going to come with. So
Okay. Well,
exciting stuff.
when Sakurai was saying that he was going to add a bunch of new characters to Smash Bros. Ultimate, but then
Mm-hmm.
he showed like Piranha Plant as like a little roster padding, and everyone was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Really, Piranha Plant? Is Teemo or Warwick Piranha Plant?"
I want to
If you
say
had to, if
Timo, but I know it's not true because Timo is too popular in general
hmm,
to be considered that.
so it's Warwick. Warwick's the
So it's
Piranha
got to
Plant.
be Warwick. Warwick
Okay,
is the piranha plant.
he's got the jaws. Give him that. All right. Well, I think this is a perfect time to transition to news.
Yeah. The
And
big news, obviously, is that Kirby's Air Riders has a whole nother hour of information that came out about it.
yeah, I have my notes for it here. I have 2 pages on Google Docs, so I'm gonna go through.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna talk anything more about Air Riders. They did put a demo out. I haven't played it, but it looked like it was an online demo. I don't know if you need the Switch membership to play it. I honestly, I think they announced it in the second direct, and I did not watch all the second direct. I'm just gonna say it. Like I knew
Yeah,
everything I wanted to know about Kirby's Air Riders.
I
No shade to Sakurai. Okay, I'm sure it's a great game.
I
Oh
tried
my
to
god,
watch it and it was just like we're doing the top-down view levels again. And I was like, "Okay,
Top
we're
Ride,
going to talk
yeah.
about that for 10 minutes." And I was like, "How about I skip at least 5 minutes of this?"
Like
Um
I would say about 20% of what that direct was him recounting things that he said in the last direct, so that he could further elaborate on them.
It
And
was so crazy. I don't understand why they did this.
because Sakurai wanted to, I feel like this is something that he really enjoys doing. And god damn it, he deserves the right to do it, even if I'm not gonna watch it.
Sure. All
Like
right.
the
Fair
man's a hard
enough.
worker. He's proud of what he makes. Just let him talk about it. You know what developer isn't necessarily proud of what they're making? Rockstar,
Oh.
because they're
Ooh.
delaying Grand Theft Auto 6 again.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
surprise. Big surprise. But this is news that we have to cover because it's such a big game.
Mm.
I was surprised mostly by the comments when this was announced. The amount of people who were just really devastated by it. I didn't realize there were people who were like actively waiting for this game. But yeah, I guess it's that big of a game that there's going to be people who were marking their calendar. But I think that that's a little naive. Like, I don't want to talk down on the people who are really expecting that date. But yeah, this is one of those things that like they probably put like $1 billion into developing, and not having it be exactly what it needs to be when it comes out. That's it's gonna be very stinky for them if that were the case. Um,
Yeah,
and hey, you know what?
it's gonna be big when it comes out, whenever it does. So, you know, take whatever
Yeah.
time you need, I guess.
Well, I mean, the great thing about delays, I think, is that it takes away from crunch. So,
Well, theoretically.
theoretically, yes, they might just be crunching the whole damn way through, which would
Yeah.
suck. But at least the possibility to get the things that they need to get into the game are there, instead of releasing something that like, you have to wait 4 months of patches to actually get to where it needs to be. Um, am I waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6? Hell no, I'm not waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. You must be new to the podcast. We talk about games like Ball X Pit here. um, but
Yeah,
yeah. So that's a next year thing. In fact, it's exactly about a year. They said they're just delaying until November of 2026. So uh,
I that was the thing that surprised me is I was expecting like 3 or 6 months, not a full other year,
well, I mean, I think that they don't want to do the cyberpunk boogie and delay the
and
game
just
like
keep
seven
delaying it
separate
over and
times.
over. Yeah,
Uh, Again, like cyberpunk got to where it needed to be, but much like people who are waiting for like the last season of a show, if you take too long, the interest just kind of dies off. So it's best just to move the date to where you need it to be,
I
and then people
think
can.
I think Grand Theft Auto is kind of in a good spot for that, just because what Grand Theft Auto 5 Online or whatever is still one of those weirdly super popular huge things that people engage with. So like I don't think the anticipation is really going to die down as long as people still care about the franchise in that way.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I here's the thing about the Grand Theft Auto Online stuff. I don't feel like I've ever like seen a person in real life who I would look at and be like, that person plays Grand Theft Auto Online. You know, like
Sure.
I don't know what that human being looks like. I don't know what that human being is like in general. Like who is making this so popular? You know,
Yeah,
but they're out there, and
they're out
please
there.
send in your photos. I want to know what you look like. Okay, so that was the biggest news in gaming, I think, for the past period. But there's been a lot of other things that have happened. For example, we reported on. Well, we didn't. I think it's a little self-important to say that we
We're not
reported on it.
exactly reporting, but yeah.
No, but we talked about the patent that Nintendo had on capturing monsters and then releasing them to fight each
We
other.
sure did.
And thankfully, the patent offices seem like they're doing the correct thing, and they are reassessing that patent. Apparently, this is a very rare thing to happen, but also the amount of ripples that it was sending throughout the interactive media arena was certainly enough to look at it again.
Yeah,
And I'm really hoping that they can that because, who
me
boy,
too. That
is
one
that
was a little too let's just say in general mechanics are not the things that have been allowed to be patented.
yeah.
Uh and this one felt like a very wide-reaching one.
Right. This is like trying to get a patent on the letter X, right? Just this is just like, oh, I'm gonna get a patent on a chord progression, right? It's like you can't do that. So I'm really hoping. I'll keep my ear to the ground on that one. I mean, if it was enough for them to consider looking at it again, then certainly there's the possibility that it's gonna get canned, and which I think would be the correct decision. Um, in less dismal Nintendo news, they kind of shadow dropped an announcement for a Animal Crossing update. Um,
Yep.
so Animal Crossing, way back when they were finishing up the Switch 2 development or Switch development, they released the 2.0 update, and Nintendo was like explicitly saying this is the last update for Animal Crossing. So enjoy. And I think what we're seeing right now, the fact that they are doing a 3.0 update to the Switch Animal Crossing, is basically an admission that they are not making another Animal Crossing. Like
I
they would
see.
not. Like I think there's a lot of people who are super excited, and well on that. They should be excited if they really like Animal Crossing. But for them to go back and unshelve the game and start adding more updates to it and talking about like the Switch 2 version with these specific features, what they're doing is they're saying we don't have plans for another Animal Crossing, at least not for a while. Uh, the things that they're adding are like the Dream Islands, like from the 3DS game. They had like the Dream Parlor where you can kind of just make an island for fun instead of it being the one that you actually live on. And you can like make codes and invite people to just kind of see it like an exhibit. which is fun. I think a lot of people are really really into the building aspect. They're adding a bunch of new items. There's like a Happy Home Designer ripoff thing that they're adding back into it. And then there's some Switch 2 exclusive stuff for the Switch 2 version. The thing that I remember is bringing 8 friends, or maybe even more than 8 friends, to your island, and I'm just like, that sounds like a headache. But if you really want to have that many people over, that's an option now for some reason. Uh, but yeah, I think that ultimately the takeaway for me is that no new Animal Crossing for a while. Um, and then the other Nintendo news, because there's always more Nintendo news. It looks like they're finally announcing that they are going to stop developing Switch games and just commit to working on the Switch 2, which, I think is going to benefit the Switch 2 quite good, because it's been lacking. Like, if you look at the library for Switch 2, it's still just Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and a bunch of quote-unquote Switch 2 versions of Switch games. Um, but
Wasn't
yeah,
there that Zelda by Tecmo Dynasty Warriors game? Is that not
oh
out
yeah,
yet?
another Dynasty Warriors Zelda. Yeah, everybody's super excited for that. No, it's not out yet. I don't believe.
Oh,
Or
okay.
if
I
it
thought that was
was,
out already. So I was like, I thought they had a fourth game. What do you mean?
yeah, it's supposed to talk about the war that takes place between the events of Tears of the Kingdom and uh the past of the Breath of the Wild iteration of Zelda.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's a war, and like they use, I forget the specific term, but it was a war that was like mentioned in other Zelda games, and everybody was always speculating about it. So like it's kind of like this really big like uh morsel of lore that a lot of people were interested in. But I mean, I think that when you have that kind of a thing going on, it's hard to live up to the expectations, especially when you're doing
Mm.
it with a Dynasty Warriors game. But hey, maybe they'll stick that landing too. But yeah, they came out and they admitted it's hard to develop games for stronger hardware, and it's just like, yeah, but also, they're used to developing on hardware that's not as good as other competitors. But in other news, competition for consoles is kind of thinning out. Um,
It
Xbox is
sure
kind of just like in
is.
in full retreat mode from hardware, and they had the ROG Ally crossover thing that was going to be big for this holiday season, but basically in every other facet they have been retreating. There's been talks of like Halo on PlayStation.
Yep, that
Lots
has
of,
finally officially been announced. Speculated for quite a while.
yeah, and then just like general porting and not patenting, but like having things registered on Steam for games that were previously Xbox exclusives. Um, so yeah, it seems like Microsoft ain't so interested in the physical hardware no more. Uh, it's interesting, they've acquired so many studios, and I think that what happened with Call of Duty, and Activision, I think that they kind of realize that maybe the money isn't in exclusivity, but in just like casting the widest net possible. Um,
They've
and
been sort of
so
saying as much in various places over the last year or so,
sure,
as
sure,
some other smaller titles made their way to PlayStation, for example. But
right.
this really does feel like the kind of big, hey, we've been talking about it. We're finally actually doing it. And they're doing it along with a giant price hike to all of their Xbox Game Pass stuff. So if you're a part of that, yikes. But
Yeah,
huge, huge price hike. I think one of them was going up full 50% or something.
it was
Um,
a fiasco.
yeah,
I briefly flirted with Game Pass, um,
years
just to
ago
try and
now.
yeah, just to play a specific game, and then when I lost interest in that game, I also let my Game Pass run out, and I never renewed it. But I do see the value of it for a lot of people, and
That
when
value just seems like it's getting smaller and smaller, though, as they keep
right,
making the price go up.
right, and I
Uh,
think it's done specifically to dissuade people from actually using it because
yeah,
they admitted that they lost a lot of revenue by having day one Game Pass games that were humongous blockbusters. Yeah,
yeah.
like again, Call of Duty, play day one on Game Pass. Like normally that would generate a lot of sales. Like it's stupid a number of sales, but if you had Game Pass, then you also were not going to buy it because you already had access to it. So, but Microsoft has been in a really weird space lately, just as a company, not just for Xbox. I know there's a lot of Xbox faithful people who are kind of fuming right now. I don't see how you can look at the current environment as any sort of real console war to begin with, but apparently there are people out there. But Microsoft, they've also stopped supporting Windows 10, and they've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to force people over to 11, and then 11 has been getting these updates that have been really fucking with 11, breaking stuff like localhost or things as critical as like Task Manager.
Yep,
So
I have been avoiding updating my Windows for quite a while.
yeah, I've edited my registry so that I don't get bugged by that stuff. But yeah, like the big thing about Windows 11 is the AI features that they try to shove down your throat. There's a really big fiasco where a while back about a feature that they were testing where it just kind of takes a screenshot of your desktop every once in a while and saves it.
Cool.
Um, and people did not like that for a lot of different reasons. But the idea was like, I guess they wanted people to be able to go back and remember what they were doing in case they forgot. But there's a lot of less invasive ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this thing called sticky notes that I use.
I have this
But yeah,
thing
they
called my brain and tabs that I leave open.
yeah. So Microsoft has just been getting really weird with like what they're doing. Um, I don't know like what the actual meaning behind all that is. I know that they're also on the big gold rush AI hawking side of things. Like I can't open Windows without it telling me like, "Hey, researchers are using this AI to really slam dunk their next project." It's like, "Okay, shut up." I don't I don't really believe that anyone's slam dunking anything with AI right now, but I get the agenda that you're trying to push, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to use Bing, so to stop asking. Um but yeah, so Xbox basically is more of a brand than a physical object now. So I'm not expecting Xbox to disappear. I'm just expecting it to be very different moving forward.
I
Um,
I think they've probably put too much into their R&D for whatever the next Xbox that comes out is to not launch it.
mm,
But I think that will be whatever it is. I'm not even saying it's going to be like the next Xbox like home console in that same way. Just I think that will be there will be whatever that next one is and that'll be the last one they put out.
well, I mean, I don't want to be the rain on the parade here, Neil, especially when it might be the last parade they do. But with the urgency that so many corporations and entities have been doing with constructing data centers,
Mm.
to talk more about hardware, we've been experiencing a ton of inflation yet again. It was originally GPUs because everybody was trying to buy up GPUs to power AI models and train them. But now we're dealing with inflation to memory, or hard disk space.
Yep.
Like there's literally places where you try and buy a hard drive from them, like an enterprise level hard drive, and they're like, you're going to be on back order for a year while we're producing all these for the people who already like ordered some for these data centers.
Mhm.
And it's just like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I don't know what that's saying about consoles moving forward, but consoles are usually already manufactured at cost from the manufacturer in order to move software. So, if the next Xbox project costs them like $900 to build, like I
Yep.
can't imagine them figuring out the right MSRP that people are actually going to be interested, especially when there's so many signs of surrender from Xbox, out there right now.
Yeah. I
So,
I think whatever
uh,
that next Xbox will, it'll be $1,000, and it'll be like, hey, you can buy these, but like everything's an Xbox, so go enjoy your PlayStation. This is just so
yeah,
you can if you want it.
I don't know. I think I just hope that it's not just an AI machine, you know? Because everything feels like it just wants to do AI shit, and I don't think that most of the things that are trying to do AI even really understand like what AI is good for. And we have Square Enix laying off a huge amount of staff offshores from Japan, in Europe
Mm-hmm.
and the States. And these layoffs happened immediately after they started talking about how they want to convert like 70% of their Q&A and debugging to AI,
Which
right?
is going to go so badly.
And then they are like, "Oh, these layoffs have nothing to do with that. I know that we just said that and the things that we're laying off are debugging and Q&A, but this is unrelated." Yeah, okay.
Corporation's going to cooperate.
Yeah. Um I mean, do you got any other news, Neil?
I
Talk
mean,
to
I
me.
was really just going to talk about the Xbox Halo going to PlayStation stuff and the Kirby's Air Ride thing, so I'm kind of tapped out now.
Oh, okay. What about
Yeah,
what about
unfortunately.
Daft
Like, all the news I've been paying attention to are, like, some game specific things. Like, the news about 2XKO I already talked about. I'm not really paying as much attention to some of the wider things because it's all depressing.
Yeah, but
A
also,
lot more layoffs. We could talk about more layoffs. I don't want to, but we could.
yeah, no, let's not do that. I think that I already kind of covered that. Um, maybe, hey, Daft Punk and Fortnite. I thought those guys blew up. I thought that at least one of them exploded, but they're going to be in Fortnite,
Yeah, you can equip them with a sniper rifle and go shoot Lisa Simpson.
which is, ultimately what they were going to do anyway, right?
Yeah. Honestly, the Fortnite Simpsons thing has seemed surprising to me. The popularity of it. I thought Simpsons were kind
Yeah,
of not a thing much these days
yeah, they're
compared
kind of
to
rote.
when they
They're a little
used to
bit
be.
rote. Um,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, I don't have a strong opinion of The Simpsons. I know that they've been trying to like kind of change up the formula and be more experimental, which is great. You want to see that. Um, but I also agree that when, we found out that you're going to be able to shoot Rick and Morty as Bart, or, shoot Peter from Family Guy as Bart, uh, I didn't think people were going to be super excited about that. But yeah, people won't shut up about it. And it's just like, who was talking about The Simpsons before this?
I just didn't realize the Simpsons were a big enough franchise for them to apparent like from what I hear, apparently they have like made the map the Simpsons town or like at least have parts of the Simpsons town in it now.
Hmm,
Like they've gone hard on this Simpsons event in a way that I am shocked by.
okay. Well, I mean,
But
I don't know the actual
yeah,
like
I don't play
size or
Fortnite, so
scope
who
of
knows?
this. Um, but yeah, I guess they're really going to be relevant again. So, what do you think are the odds of Fortnite having a collab with like the Beatles? You think that there's going to be a Beatles estate collab with Fortnite?
I think that one in specific is pretty low.
Okay. Okay. What about the Monkeys? Certainly the Monkeys, if not the Beatles, because they're kind of like the budget
Sure,
version
why
of the
not?
Beatles.
Is there, in all honesty, is there any like franchise or brand or something that you like enough that it would get you to try out Fortnite and like try to get that stuff? Like if they put Pizza Tower into Fortnite, would you be like, "All right, I guess I'll give it a shot."
Okay, first of all, what is that? What you think of me, Neil? You think that if I'm motivated by Pizza Tower? Like, don't get me wrong, I like Pizza Tower. It's not like the center of my character, okay?
No, no. I'm wondering, is there anything that would be big enough
I
for
think
you?
I think it's a question that the answer is it's kind of it's a cyclical thing, Neil. I feel like if something that I enjoyed, if the people who hold that intellectual property lower themselves to adding the characters or whatever from that franchise into Fortnite, then that kind of lowers that franchise for me, and
Mm.
there and like
Hmm.
retroactively makes me maybe not want Fortnite, but want less of the other thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, is there anything that can overpower that? I don't think so.
That's fair.
I think maybe if it was earlier in that game's lifespan and it motivated me in a way like, okay, well they're willing to work with this franchise, maybe that'll make me more confident in what this game's going to be. But seeing all of the other stuff that's already in there, it's
Yeah.
just it's a slop game. It's a slop game.
Yeah, that one is a slop game. I'll give you that. That's for sure. And I kind of agree with you. I don't think there's really anything that would get me to want to go in. Like, Lord knows I played thousands of hours of Rocket League, and then Epic bought Rocket League, and I'm pretty sure there's some kind of Rocket League thing in Fortnite. I'm still never going to fucking download Fortnite and find out what it is, or how to play it, or what.
Okay, what if Epic bought Netrunner, the franchise, and then they made a whole Netrunner game, and the Netrunner game was really, really good, and they announced that there's going to be special things you can unlock for the Netrunner game in Fortnite.
That gets me closer.
Okay,
Like
sliding the
if I
scale.
could unlock alt arts for
Yeah,
Netrunner,
yeah, you can unlock special animated cards and card backs.
more tempting than some of the other shit.
Is it more tempting than anything you've thought of personally? Like, did I just
Yes.
invent something that's scary to you?
You have invented something that would be much closer to getting me to download Fortnite. I don't know if it would get me there.
Okay, well, that's scary to me then, because I was really hoping there would be nothing that would make you budge, but I guess the human mind is a
I
scary place,
I
you know.
don't think it would get me there, but it's
Hmm.
also never going to happen, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah, but like, what if it was something that you could pay like a kind of unreasonable amount of money for
See, the
instead, or play Fortnite?
the moment it's what if you could pay for this, I'm kind of like, I might be out.
Oh, okay. You'd rather just pay than play Fortnite.
Probably. And even then, like I love Netrunner. There's plenty of Netrunner alt arts and stuff I don't have because I'm not paying money to go and travel to these like big tournaments and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I would love some of those alt arts. I'm not going to go out of my way to find a way to get them. Um and I feel like that probably end up being true for Fortnite as well. I just wouldn't want to engage with Fortnite in a way that would get me that stuff. I don't even tend to get a lot of these like Twitch drop things. Twitch is always doing those promotions with video games like, "Oh, get this stuff if you watch people streaming these games." I never engage with any of that.
Yeah. I think I think for me, the only thing that would get me to play Fortnite is if it was like a radically different game. And then at that point, I wouldn't really be playing Fortnite anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they included the zero build mode like a while back, and that was the closest that I came to like maybe I'll try it out. But even then,
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
you're
no.
taking out the part of this I really don't want to engage with? I guess that gets me closer.
Right, but then like fundamentally, it's not really Fortnite anymore, is it? Right, because the whole thing that
Yeah.
separated that from every other battle royale game was the building part,
As far as I
and
know,
then
no build mode might actually be the more popular mode now, too.
yes, that's I think the truth of it. Because again, I think a lot of people picked up the game when that happened because they didn't
Yeah.
want to do the sweaty building stuff. But that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? The less it becomes Fortnite, the
Yeah.
more interested that people become, because Fortnite has realized that the thing that is repelling the remainder of the market share is Fortnite. So
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be something else. It needs to have fucking Sabrina Carpenter concerts in there and Daft Punk, and
Yeah.
they need to announce Emperor Palpatine is in Star Wars again. It's all these spectacles and
Fucking,
things that aren't
I
even
forgot
Fortnite.
about the fucking like Palpatine announcement in that game. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Fortnite needs to stop existing.
I mean, I'm not that hostile. I'm just repulsed.
Fair. I think that's gonna do it for us today, everybody. Thank you so much. Video games, goodbye. Audio Games is hosted and produced by Matthew Lane and Neil Jimenez. Our theme music is Recharging by Gooset. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at audiogamespodcast@gmail.com.
You always say that like you have something else you're gonna add. You have like such an intonation. You're like, video games goodbye.
Video games, goodbye, and I miss you.
Oh, well, that's sweet.
Oh boy.
You should say, and video games see you next time.
Oh, there you go.
Or video see you games next time. It's terrible. Never mind.
Video game Zia next time?
That's even worse. It's getting even worse. I think you were right to end the podcast.